Good morning. My name is Kevin Smith. I'm the Assistant Director of Planning and Development Services with the City of Sioux Falls. With me this morning is Fletcher Laycock, Senior Planner with our department. And if, in case anyone doesn't know, October is Community Planning Month, nationally recognized. So we're here this morning to talk a little bit about that, a little bit about how planning benefits our community in terms of our processes. And Fletcher will give you some updates later on some next steps. But to begin with, the concept of planning is important because it helps us as a community define and achieve our goals. It helps us to proactively manage growth. And I think more importantly, it also helps us navigate change as a community, because as much as we plan for the future, we have to be ready to pivot and be flexible with our future plans. It also helps our community well-being and livability by enhancing our quality of life through long-range planning, and it really helps us answer some rather large questions, such as what are we going to look like in the future? How are we going to get there? And what processes and programs can we put into place to make sure it is a livable community that we're growing into, that we can continue to be that productive and that's successful. Our department has a number of different divisions and programs that we provide and work with the community to reach our goals, including the planning division. Also, we've got building services, which is responsible for managing the safe construction of buildings throughout the community. Property maintenance team leads code enforcement efforts so that we're also protecting the neighborhoods and the housing that's already in place. Our housing division, responsible for providing funding and programs to ensure that we've got affordable and accessible housing. We support arts and culture through our arts coordinator in the upcoming cultural plan that's just getting kicked off, and certainly supporting neighborhood incentives or initiatives through our housing team and our neighborhood and housing planning staff. I'd also point out, before I turn it over to Fletcher, that we serve 14 out of the 40 boards within the City of Sioux Falls. So if you're interested in participating in planning as an individual, there are several opportunities through the Planning Commission, through the Accessible Housing Board, also through a number of different boards and commissions that serve on the building services side. So whether you're technical in nature or simply interested in helping out, we have a number of opportunities through our department. And with that, I will turn it over to Fletcher, who'll provide you a little bit more detail on some of the work we're doing every day, as well as some things we have coming up in the near future. Fletcher?
Thank you. Fletcher Laycock, Senior Planner, Planning and Development Services. I lead the long-range planning and transportation planning team. But I want to talk about the importance of planning in our community and identify some of the ways that planning impacts your life every day, and then some of the ways that you can even get involved in planning in our city. So we're not just about rules and regulations, we're also about making Sioux Falls a strong, vibrant community, and looking out towards the future, planning not just for today, but for 25 years down the road, so that for our next generation, our children. So some of the ways that planning is involved in your everyday life is through neighborhood associations. So that's where, at the ground level, we're helping neighborhoods organize, and there's also the ability to apply for neighborhood grants and to help neighborhoods create that feeling of community, and also provide some financial resources for them to implement programs on the local level to make the city what they want to see. So if you have questions about neighborhood grants, you can go to the city website, siouxfalls.gov, search neighborhoods, and we can either help you find where your neighborhood association is, if you have one, or help you organize a neighborhood association for your community. Another way that planning is involved in your everyday life is through transportation planning, and there's multiple facets to that. There's the Sioux Area Metro, which the city helps run, and then bicycle and pedestrian planning and active transportation board, as well as just ensuring that the roads and streets are built and get you places that you need to go. So land use and transportation has a huge impact. The ways that you can get involved in that, we have different boards. We have the active transportation board. If you want to get involved at the base level, we have the bike committee, we have our pedestrian committee, we have a committee called Pedestrians Against Traffic Hazards, which helps with safe routes to school, and we also have our public transit advisory board, which reviews the Sioux area metro and the redesign of transit in Sioux Falls. The next thing we kind of look at is the way that we, on where you'll usually see the city involved is through rules and regulations, so zoning, land use. The way we do that is through our Shaped Places zoning ordinance, which looks at urban form and transitions between different land uses. And the way that we look at that is through our Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Adjustment. So if you have an interest in learning more about that, that's a way you could get more involved in your community. We also are recently getting more involved in the arts, and October we'll be kicking off the Arts and Culture Plan, and you'll probably be seeing our arts coordinator at a future press briefing talking about our Arts and Culture Plan. That will kick off October 14th with a public engagement opportunity. But that is looking at the next 10 years of arts in our community. And then ones that are an issue that we've looked at, which is the big vision for the city, is the Shape Sioux Falls 2050 Comprehensive Plan Update. We were here last month talking about the importance of that we're in our third phase of the engagement process. We are just wrapping that up. We were at the Levitt and farmers markets and Riverfest talking about getting people's input on the trends and recommendations of the plan. On October 6th, we'll be having a public open house at the downtown library. That's a way that you can get involved, is to provide comments. You can come to the meeting, or it's also available online to get involved. And finally, with October being National Planning Month, every year, the Planning Department hosts a Citizens Planning Academy, and that is on October 6th and October 26th. There are 2 sessions. We're probably full this year, but we do this every year, and it's a way for us to help the community learn what are the things that planning does and how you can get involved. And so it's very helpful even for people looking to get more involved in government to come learn about what government does. So usually the way that people find out about planning is they get a letter in the mail saying their neighbor wants to build something. And they end up going to the meeting, and it's their first time getting involved, and they say, why didn't I know about this? Why wasn't I aware? Well, this is a unique opportunity in our community for everyone to get involved, because the Shape Sioux Falls 2050 Comprehensive Plan is looking out 25 years. We update it every 5 years, but we're looking at that vision and we're doing it now. So if you want to have a say in what the community looks like in 25 years, now's the time to get involved. And 2 months from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, it'll be too late. The cake is baked, and you'll be getting that letter in the mail saying your neighbor wants to do something, and you're wondering, why didn't I know? So with that, I am available for questions, and Kevin Smith as well.
Regarding transportation, with the master plan, Shape Sioux Falls, and public transit and everything, do you foresee significant changes in regulation, infrastructure, to deal with the explosion of electric microtransportation?
That's a good question. That is a topic which comes up at our active transportation board on a regular basis. And it is something that we have rules in place about what is allowed. What we're getting to the point of is, how do we educate the public, and what are the steps that we can take to not just enforce, but let people know what the rules are. So that's where we're at in the process of moving forward. And if people want to get more involved, they can come to our bike committee and our pedestrian committee, Pedestrians Against Traffic Hazards Committee for safe routes to school, but also the Active Transportation Board, and let us know that it's important and that it's something you want the city working on.
Regulation, because you can buy various devices in any department store. They're on the streets, they're on the paths, they're on the sidewalks. It would seem that the technology has, once again, sped past regulation. Do you see a concern there from a regulatory standpoint that needs to be addressed in the near future?
That's something that we're working on. I don't know that, I think we have our regulations in place that limit what is allowed. What we're going to have to work on is, like I said, the education part, where we're letting people know what is allowed, what isn't allowed. And then, because we're not going to start ticketing people or even kids for this, but we should probably be educating kids and their parents about why it's important that what they're riding maybe isn't allowed on sidewalks or streets, and what would be the best options for them.
But they're not allowed anywhere.
No, some of the out-of-class vehicles that you are speaking of. No, they don't know that, which is why we want to start with education before we get to enforcement. Thank you.